Hey guys, my name is Ryan Magic, and if you're watching this video, it tells me that you're a super driven business owner and you're smart enough to recognize that in today's day and age, full of information, strategy, ideas, it's those men who have the greatest character that are able to actualize their dreams in business. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 8 lost qualities of the modern day businessman, and with that, unlocking the secret, the inner power to scale your business to whatever size you want. Because think about it, business strategy is not too difficult. For example, if you've got a 500K business, you want to take it to 2.5 mil. That means 5xing the business. So to do that, if you've got a 10K average client value, you got to go from 50 to 250 clients. So you need to 5x your marketing spend, hire some service product peeps, hire some sales people, probably an ops manager to help manage that, which is very simple if you've got the mindset to execute that plan. And if you wanted to then take that $2.5 million business to 10 mil, very similar game in terms of expanding, you just need another layer of management, which means that you need to have more grounded character. But again, it's the mindset that's going to enable you to actualize that next stage of growth. So yes, your skills and experience improve as you grow, but whether you want to go to 1 mil, 5 mil, 10 mil, even 100 mil, it's always the mindset that enables you to jump to that next level in business. So over the last 10 years, I've literally spent over $500,000 developing myself, my character, my mindset with courses, seminars, mentors, consultants, and every single thing that I've learned over the last 10 years, I've distilled into 4 main masculine archetypes. And these archetypes have been deeply embedded and existing within the male psyche since the beginning of time. Those archetypes are the king, warrior, magician, and lover. And within each of those are 2 qualities that make an entrepreneur infinitely more powerful. And they make up the 8 lost qualities of the modern day businessman. As cool as the tech revolution has been, giving us opportunities for expansion and growth, cool innovation, connection has been lost. Men have weakened. They've stopped being able to access their courage, their sacredness, their connection. And within that, they've also lost the power of these qualities that I'm going to be sharing in this video. So before I crack into these 8 qualities, it's mega important to understand that the 4 archetypes are equally important. Now, most men that are driven and ambitious favor the king energy and the warrior energy. That's where their preference lies. But it's actually the imbalance and the lack of lover energy and magician energy, which I'm going to cover last, that actually stops them from scaling their business. So the first of the 4 masculine archetypal energies we're going to explore is the king energy. And there are a lot of amazing qualities within the king energy, but there are 2 really potent ones for entrepreneurs. We're going to explore them, but we're going to start with grounded confidence. The thing with this first quality is that most entrepreneurs are actually the opposite of this. And the way that looks is they have conditional confidence. If they succeed, they feel great. If they have a loss in the business, they feel low. So their self-worth is always on the line, and that's not stable and strong. What that leads to is trying to prove yourself to others, or you see another friend or an entrepreneur that's succeeding at a higher level, and it threatens your sense of self. So when you have grounded confidence, your self-worth isn't on the line with every decision you make, which gives you the freedom to execute on anything that comes to mind. Because if it doesn't go well, you don't care. The other thing that it does is you actually align yourself with the highest quality customers, so you get paid more from every customer, and you also attract a team of A players. And the reason why is because when you've got grounded confidence, you know that you're worthy. So you automatically choose everything and customize the business to be the highest value business. So an example of this with my previous business was I just started working with low valued people that didn't pay me as much. It was way harder to look after these people. And I did it because I didn't back myself. And I switched some things up. I actually embodied grounded confidence, and I went after someone that could pay me 5 times the cash and have way less hassle in terms of growing the business, needing infrastructure to support it, because I backed myself. And that's what can happen when you have grounded confidence. So the second quality of the king energy is inspiring leadership. And this is something that a charismatic king does naturally. They want to do content, they want to share their opinion. They set a vision that's massive, and then not only does their team rally behind them, but people in the space start to notice this person. They're respected, they back themselves, and other people follow. So when you embody inspiring leadership, you open a world of possibility from a marketing and a sales perspective. But what's most beneficial to being an inspiring leader is your ability to attract and retain talent and have people in your business work hard with devotion. And the reason why is obvious. When you inspire them, they want to be there. Within one of my companies, we did $1 million a month, and the devotion with the sales team, we had 9 guys that were literally staying past 9 p.m. at night, getting in the office at 7 a.m. in the morning. That can only be achieved by a vision that inspires people. So the second archetypal energy we're going to explore is the warrior energy. This is my favorite personally. And the warrior energy is hardcore. There's lots of benefits to it. We're going to explore 2 of the most potent qualities for entrepreneurs. The first is consistent courage. So the essence of an entrepreneur that can use consistent courage, it's essentially a man that can make things happen. And the way that this looks, the biggest opportunity here is your ability to make massive decisions that fast track the growth of the business. So for example, big marketing initiatives. Think Richard Branson doing game-changing things that stand out in the industry. So often entrepreneurs plateau or get stuck, or they're trying to figure out how they can grow their business. But when you make big, bold moves, you force the business to catch up with the decisions that you've made. So I'll give some examples of this. When I had 1 employee, I got a 40-person office space. And within 6 months, we had 17 team members. Now, we didn't have the systems and the legal infrastructure. Nothing was in place, but we forced it into place by making that move, and it fast-tracked the business. Another example, I wanted to get really good at videos, just like this. And I hired a videographer full-time, and it forced me to get good at videos because there was someone following me around all day. So I'm biased with consistent courage. It's my favorite quality, and I know the potency of it. So make sure that this is something that you embody at the highest level. The second of the warrior qualities is powerful action. And the opposite of this is being busy. And most entrepreneurs I know, and me in the past, I literally worked 80, 100-hour weeks, and I was just doing things to try to feel like I was being productive, but I wasn't being effective. Powerful action at its absolute best is when you know your genius zone. That's what you love to do, what you're powerful at doing, and what provides the most value to your business. You need to play in that space, but to do that, you need to hire a support team around you that can enable the growth. Powerful action for me literally broke me through in business. I've been in business for 3 years, plateaued at 6 figures, and I invested half of my whole business's earnings in a mentor. And within 10 months, I'd made my first $1 million. And to this day, I use powerful action. I used it to scale to multi-7 figures, and I continue to use it to fast track my growth in business. So the third of the 4 masculine energies is the magician energy. The magician energy is probably one of the biggest stretches for entrepreneurs that blocks them from being able to scale their business effectively. So we're going to cover the 2 most potent of these qualities that are relevant to entrepreneurship. And the first of them is perceptive awareness. Perceptive awareness is your ability to literally sense into everything that's going on in your business. And most entrepreneurs struggle with this because this is actually a feeling-based quality more than it is a thinking-based quality. And so if you can think of a time when you've missed something or been shocked or surprised by something big that happened, like an employee leaving all of a sudden, this is you being disconnected from your perceptive awareness. The most excruciatingly frustrating example of this for me was when I was plateaued in one of my businesses, unable to scale past 5 mil. And I was intellectually trying to figure out all the problems and why it wouldn't scale. But the answer was simple, and it was right in front of me. And it was that we didn't have a product to market fit. We were offering a product that was further ahead than where our market was at. And as a result, we had a huge amount of unpaid invoices. And I could have seen that if I only had perceptive awareness. So if you've ever found yourself stuck at a certain point in business, I can almost guarantee that the reason why you haven't broken through is because you're lacking this quality. So the second quality within the magician archetype is intuitive clarity. Intuitive clarity is a completely different way of making decisions. And yes, as the name suggests, it's about following your intuition. Even though this sounds a little bit woo-woo, the purpose behind intuition is to guide you to the next biggest opportunity that you have for growth. You see, the only way for you to evolve is by embracing what's unfamiliar. And intuition always allows you to see the next thing that you've never done before. And as a result, it's actually the opposite of fluffy. It guides you to the most difficult journey that causes the biggest results in your business. And like one of my good friends says, without fear, there's no space for faith. Meaning that because you're going outside what you can control, you don't even know how it's going to end up. You have to trust and you have to surrender. And that's the reason that most entrepreneurs find intuitive clarity so difficult to grasp. Intuitive clarity can create a lot of powerful decisions, but it's more of a risk when you're not using it. And a prime example of this is I hired an operations manager who was in the business and performing well. And my partner, Danny, actually made a comment to me and said, "I don't think you can trust this guy. There's something off about him." And I was like, "What are you talking about? He's performing well. He's a great team member." And he ended up stealing a ton of money and causing massive turbulence in the business. Something that didn't make sense, but she called it because she was accessing her intuitive clarity. So the fourth of the archetypes is the lover energy. And for driven businessmen, it's definitely the hardest to adopt. But if you can get these two qualities down pat, it will be the thing that enables you to grow your business. Trust me. And so we're going to start off first and foremost with fulfillment driven. To really address what fulfillment driven looks like, I want to ask you a question, a tough question. If 10 people were to see your life right now and understand what you do day to day, week to week, how many of them do you think would want to step into your shoes and live your reality? The answer is not many. And I know this because it was the same for me. It's like, are you living your perfect day right now? If the answer is no, why not? It's not magically going to come in the future. And the cool thing is you've got the resources and the resourcefulness to live your dream life. And if you can carry that into business, the energy that you have, the vibrancy you have is way more sustainable and your productivity is going to be way higher anyway. Being fulfillment driven means caring about how you feel. And I've got a question for you. Are you more on the side of feeling energized, vibrant, excited about life? Or are you more stressed and overwhelmed and tired? Because if the answer is in this category, then you're not going to approach your business with the degree of power as an entrepreneur that's actually got a well-rounded balance in their life and an excitement for their life. The best example I have of this, if I'm going to be really honest, is me. And I had everything that an entrepreneur wants. I had a supercar, I had a 4-story house, I could travel whenever I wanted, I had financial freedom, but I didn't even give myself the time to do anything I wanted with my money. It was crazy. It was like I had always gotten into business to live some epic life, and my life sucked. And then I started to turn it around, and now I love my life, but I've also got the energy to contribute into my business, and it's a spiraling up, self-fulfilling prophecy that ultimately makes me more powerful as an entrepreneur. The second of the qualities under the lover archetype is being deeply connected. And this is having a sense of relationship between yourself and the people that are in your business, but also the people that are in your life outside of business. Most entrepreneurs don't take the time to be present with what they do in the business and the people they spend time with. That's including staff, but it's also including clients. It's just about rush from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And instead of actually having this deep experience with what they do, everything's just a transaction. I want you to think about this for a second. Most of your life is spent running this business. And if you actually take that extra minute or two to connect with a team member or connect with a client that you have, then you create something that you enjoy living in. Like, you want to catch up with friends outside of work and it's like the time to have fun. But what if you could create meaning in the space where you spend the most time? The most important part of being deeply connected for me is actually from a personal perspective, because I was always working so hard in business, but my partner, I never felt like we were really connected. I didn't really feel like she had my back. I didn't feel like she appreciated me and she respected me, even though I was working so hard for us. But when I actually got out of my head and I started to prioritize quality time, then all of a sudden I had more support than I ever thought I could have. And that's the most beautiful feeling in the world. And even though we're in this business to make money, it's more than just that. There's meaning to it. And when you can associate to that meaning, you actually make more money anyway. So to summarize how these energies work together, you have the king that holds space for the vision, has the certainty and confidence to say, this is where we're going. You then have the magician that feels in the way to navigate that path, that knows what's next best on the journey for the ultimate growth. You then have the warrior that has incredible fortitude and courage to pave the way, to be able to move through and make shit happen. And lastly, you have the lover that enables the journey to all be worthwhile. So as I was going through the 8 lost qualities of the modern day businessman, you would have felt like you could connect to some and you embodied some, and there would have been others that you were weaker in. But my question to you is this: what could you accomplish if you embodied all 8 of those qualities? Like, seriously, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the way that you carry yourself right now, and imagine if you really embodied those character traits, those qualities, what could you accomplish? I know the power of this, which is why I've spent literally the last 10 years devoted to growing myself so that I could expand in business. And the guys that I love helping the most are men who are so obsessed with their growth that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get the edge and go to that next level. This is literally my biggest passion. And it's essentially helping men embody these 8 qualities to the fullest extent. So if when I was going through these qualities, you were watching along going, if I can bridge the gap and have this character as my day-to-day normal, it's going to skyrocket my business, then register your interest in the program below. So I've been doing this for a while now, and I know exactly which men I get the best results working with. And so only apply if you meet the following 3 points. The first one is having a minimum $250,000 business. You have to have a business that we can really get in and work on scaling. And this is an elite group of businessmen. So that's a really important point. The second one is you need to have a massive vision. If you want to get the most out of this process, you need to be shooting for the stars, and you need to be willing to really stretch the edges of what's possible. And the third point, and the most important, is you need to be vulnerable and willing to do the inner work. That means bringing your heart forward, because this process isn't easy, and I promise it's worth it. So if this is you, then I'd be pumped to have a chat with you. So put your details in below now, and I can't wait to see you on the other side.